Yeah. Yeah.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the 2-point conversion. I guess say Monday night, but it's day. Certainly Monday evening here at the just barely reaching that. But Courtney, today is Canada Day, so welcome to a special going for two-point conversion Canada Day. I've got all that out of the way. How are you doing, Courtney?
I'm great. How are you? Happy Canada Day.
Thank you. Doing great. Glad to be here. Sorry, I'm just trying to send out the tweet to everyone, let everyone know we're here. And if you want to follow us along on the Going for Two live YouTube page, Facebook, Twitch as well, you can send your comments, interact with us. So a few things. Last time we were on, it was kind of right as rookie draft season was starting. Mm-hmm. Spoke about a few rookie drafts, but then we thought, okay, the next time we'd come along, let's see how rookie drafts have gone at the end. And actually, I just finished a rookie draft this past week, so it actually is really well timed for that. So.
Nice.
How did all your rookie drafts go? Yeah, are they all done actually? Are they?
I feel like they went pretty well, and I was kind of thinking about it today, and I was kind of looking through. It looks like, as much as I stressed out about it, because I've always been, I think it's, from just learning from everyone and going for two, and just learning from everybody in the football, our family and everything. It's like when you make these dynasty teams, you really are looking for those centerpieces, right? Those centerpieces that you can have, which is usually your, super flex, of course, your young quarterbacks, but those wide receivers, because they have that longer shelf life, right? And so I've been really struggling because in a couple of my dynasties, my running backs are just like, the old guys that really don't have that much, tread on the tires anymore. And so I stress these rookie drafts really torn between, am I going to take some running backs or am I just going to stick with that strategy? And I tell you, I looked through them and I have Blake Corum in like every single one of them but one, which is nice because I like Blake Corum. Trey Benson would always go way too quickly, and so I'm happy. I kind of like that I have him because I think that he will be an asset, for the next couple seasons. So I do like that I have him. And then my second one is Keon Coleman. Jeff will like that.
Oh yeah, for sure. And you know what? I actually have I don't have a single Keon Coleman share or Blake Corum.
Really? Who's your most? Do you know?
Yeah, I know it's Jawar Jordan actually.
Very nice.
But yeah, I think Coleman and Corum and Coleman. Wow, what a duo! I think they should both do pretty well. Coleman looks like he's going to get good opportunity on the Bills. Corum, I mean, none of the running backs really got amazing landing spots. All of them feel like there's someone in front of them. So he's still my RB3 of the class.
I picked up Jawar. You're talking about the running back with Houston, right?
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, I picked him up actually off the waivers in my girls' dynasty like 2 days ago because we just opened up waivers because it's been so many people been out of town. We really wanted to make sure that everyone had a fair shot. We didn't want to be like, oh, we're opening here and then people are not seeing it or whatever. And so we just opened him up and I snagged him right off there. I was pretty happy about that.
Yeah, I think I've drafted him in maybe 2 spots in the 4th round. But yeah, I think I've got him in 5 leagues. I think at least 2 of them I picked up off waivers. I think I've drafted him in 3 spots in the 4th round.
Nice.
And Jamie in the chat. I will say I had Jamie on the Full Press Fantasy Pod recently. He talked about his most rostered dynasty player overall is in fact a rookie. And if you know Jamie, you might know who it is. He's going to break the internet with the amount he has of this player, just like Rome was broken. It didn't take just one day either. He was drafted over several weeks, and Jamie got Roman Wilson in like 12 leagues. So
I like Roman Wilson a lot, and it's actually I picked him up in one of my. I am a co-manager in one league with a friend, and when we picked him up, we had a ton of people send us out offers immediately, like, oh, I'll trade you my next pick plus somebody else, and I was like, I'm good. I'm gonna hold on to him for now because. Maybe when the season starts, but I picked him up there and I was pretty happy because he was the best on the board but I like Roman Wilson. I think he's got a shot just like anybody else on that team, right? I mean, there's not,
For sure. Pickens, Freiermuth are probably his biggest competition to be the top of the mountain. So.
Right, exactly.
Julia, NBA Rig joining and asking how Canada is on this beautiful day. Super sunny here, awesome day. I was texting my friend out on the East Coast, and he was saying, "Oh, it's raining." Not so nice. So it's a really loaded question, Julia, because Canada is pretty large. So it's probably good someplace and not so nice in any of the other spots.
Did you say it was raining on the west coast of Canada right now?
East Coast.
Oh, East Coast. Darn.
I'll enunciate and pronunciate better. Perhaps. Maybe
not. Cheers to you too, NBA.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Sorry, I got rid of that comment too quickly. Yes. Happy to see Julia. Happy to see Jamie. And then again, anyone else in the chat who wants to join us here, head over to the Going for Two YouTube page. Be sure to subscribe, like the video, comment, and we'll interact. And everyone can share their most rostered rookies right now in Dynasty, or most drafted rookies in rookie drafts.
Who's the rookie that you wish you had more of?
Well, I would say it's the guys I have zero of. So like Keon Coleman might actually be a really good example of that. It's funny. The one guy I thought I would end up with a lot of was Xavier Worthy. I'm really high on him, and I don't have any so far. Would have loved to get Caleb Williams or Marvin Harrison. Probably should have got Marvin Harrison. Ended up trading away the 101, so could have had him there. But ultimately, I think Worthy's the one I'm maybe surprised about that I have.
Because you wanted him so bad, huh? That's how it always works, though.
Well, but I also think I just ended up trading a bunch of picks. So I ended up tracking. I traded away just this year. This isn't even including like if I had traded away a future first in previous years. But just this year during rookie draft season, I traded away 7 firsts, all to go get most of the time wide receivers. One Jalen Hurts, one time it was Mark Andrews, but a lot of those picks would have been in the like mid first, where you would have taken a Dunze, Bowers, Worthy. I did end up drafting Bowers in one spot, but after the draft, traded him to go get Malik Neighbors. So I was hoping to at least get one of Marvin Harrison Neighbors, and managed to make it happen.
Nice. I actually snagged Jaden Daniels in a single quarterback, and sorry, I think I'm about to sneeze. Woo!
Kind of like Connor McDavid. They sneezed and blinked, and suddenly they lost the Stanley Cup. We can get on that.
I honestly didn't really think that I would get Jaden Daniels because it's a one quarterback league, right? It's not a super flex, but I was like, he's still there. I think it was like maybe the 110 or 111. And I was like, I feel like I have to take him because then I had another pick. So I had like the 111 and it's a 14 teamer. So I think I had like the 111, then I turned around and had like the 2-1, you know what I mean? So it was like, I could easily just have picked up somebody, after that. And so I picked him up because I was like, that's trade bait for another guy, or if I hold on to him and get rid of one of my quarterbacks that I currently have or whatever. I was like, that's just too easy. I had to go for it. So
Jamie's saying, because he's a Cleveland Browns fan, Ohio State fan. He's a Michigan player and a Steelers player, yet he's his most rostered player.
Yeah,
gotta respect him even with the hate. And yeah. So I guess Canadian news. Some Canadian people did win the Stanley Cup. So Canada's perceived cup drought, I've never thought existed anyway. Still doesn't exist. But for those Canadian teams that haven't won based in Canadian cities, they haven't won a cup since 1993. So
wow,
did the latest Canadian team to go up and try and win the cup, and they ultimately couldn't do it. They came close. They lost the first 3 games, the 7-game series. It hasn't been since 1942 that a team has come back in the final down 3-0. So the odds were against them. They forced a game 7, and Florida Panthers get their first franchise cup. So
I saw that.
Florida, yeah.
So Jamie, it's funny that you said you got sniped on Jaden Daniels and then you passed on Caleb for Corum. I actually got Jaden Daniels, and then when I flipped to that next pick, which was I think it was like 2-1 or 2-2, that's when I got Corum.
There you go. Yeah, I think that's kind of the range of the quarterbacks. I've noticed, like I think one QB league I was in, Caleb went I think 106. So
yeah.
That was pretty aggressive, I thought, but we'll see. I mean, each their own. So did you want to talk anything else? Rookie draft or dynasty right now?
No, I think you need to talk to me about these Tri-Cats because I looked it up, and is this your team?
The Tri-Cats. Yeah, they definitely did try last night. In spite of all the
22-24, right? Like the last seconds of the game or something?
Yeah, okay, you're good. Yeah, you looked up, you did your research. Yeah, remind me of that.
Of course I did. I wanted to know.
So the Hamilton Tiger Cats are a Canadian Football League team. There are 9 teams in the CFL. I live in Ontario, and one of the cities I'm close to. I mean, really equally close to all 3 teams in Ontario. So I've chosen the Hamilton Tiger Cats as my team. I actually saw a game back in 2016. Hey, look at that. That was the year that Portugal won the Euros. It'd be nice if they repeated that. They'll have to actually win today. We'll see how that goes. Ticats, great team, just not this year. They are 0-4 to start the season. As you mentioned last night, they actually got the lead. They gave up the lead in the last minute or so. They retook the lead with about 30 seconds left, allowed a big kick return, and basically got them in a field goal range. They were a few first downs away. They got them last second field goal, 24-22, game over, and they lose their first 4 games of the season. The second loss of the season against Saskatchewan, they literally were tied. It looked like it was going to go into overtime. The Ticats had about 30 seconds left, so they were 30 seconds away with the lead. Saskatchewan scores, they tie the game, and then Hamilton goes. They try and get into field goal range. Tim White falls over, tips the pass to a Saskatchewan player, intercepted, and they kick a last-second field goal. They don't even go. It's been. They haven't played.
Are you an Argonauts fan? Or do the Argonauts?
Oh God, no! The Argos suck. I hate the Argonauts. It's that's my least favorite sports team in the entire world.
But Chad Kelly's their quarterback. I love
Chad that helps. I mean, that's part of why I don't like them.
I'm looking it up right now. I'm looking up players.
Chad Kelly did fantastic last year on the field. Apparently, off the field, he is kind of a scumbag piece of trash. So there's
probably.
Yes, Argos suck. Forget the Argos, but apparently the Ticats suck a lot too because they've lost every game this season so far. So
hold on, I need to know if there's any other good players out there. Any other players that I should know that I would know that are on some of these teams or on your team?
I mean, if you were playing fantasy long enough to remember Matt Forte, one of my favorite handcuffs for him was one of his handcuffs for when you're in Chicago was Kadeem Carey, running back. He's also on the Argos.
Nice.
NFL players.
Nice.
Running back somewhere. I think about it.
I'm looking through right now. I'm not seeing a lot that I know.
Alexander Hollins, I think, used to be an NFL wide receiver. He's doing pretty well with the BC Lions.
I remember Matt.
Travis Fulgham. He just got cut though, so he hasn't been doing well this year. But yeah, he started the season with the Lions.
There you go.
He basically through the first 3 games, he had basically one catch a game. And
Doug
not
Flutie.
really running the right route, so they just cut him. Honestly, so Travis Fulgham's a CFL free agent and NFL free agent, I think technically.
Oh yeah, I don't see really anybody else that much.
Yeah, Matt Forte was amazing. There's some good memories for people. Yeah. Not too much there in terms of.
And yes, Jamie, to answer your question, that was the draft that you helped me with.
Oh, okay, yeah, that question. Yeah, good for that. Yeah, I'm not going to talk about cricket, Jamie. I might talk curling, although there's really nothing happening. But yeah, something you'd like to talk. So part of it. So that's one Canadian topic to talk about. I've got a few other Canadian topics to get to. But is there anything Canadian you'd like to talk about, Courtney?
I mean, you already mentioned music, and I got myself a fun list of music to talk about from that hails from Canada.
Oh, okay.
That I'm a big fan of. So
awesome.
We can definitely talk about Canadian music on this beautiful day.
Well, that's the thing, and that was one of the topics I want to talk about too. Some of my favorite Canadian artists and albums. So yeah, let's go through.
I'm going to tell you, I think ours are going to be completely different because I remember when we did the music show with Gladys, and it was complete. So this actually might be pretty interesting to look through.
It'll be a comprehensive list. We'll cover a lot of ground.
Totally. Well, I think one of the most famous is probably Mr. Bryan Adams, and though I'm not a huge Bryan Adams fan, he came to Tahoe. And tickets were $20 because nobody wanted to go. And so we were like, oh, let's go have a girls' night. And we went. And my girl that's from Canada, dressed in complete Canadian garb, right? I'm talking complete Canadian garb. And she had this big Canadian, Oh Canada flag. And every time we were sitting down pretty close. And every time he would look at us, she'd be doing the Canadian flag in the air and everything. I will tell you, if Bryan Adams is ever anywhere that anyone out there in the universe near you, go see him. At still 62 years old, he tore the roof off that place, and it was quite enjoyable.
Awesome. Yeah, I love Bryan Adams. Some good albums. Music there for sure. That's a good place to start. So I was actually going to mention Bryan Adams as part of my list. I was just listening to them today though. My all-time favorite Canadian band is called The Tragically Hip.
I love The Tragically Hip too. They were on
awesome.
my list.
Great. So perfect. And there's a bit of a Louisiana connection as well. So the Hip's first full-length album called Up to Here, released in 1989. One of the big hit singles off that is New Orleans is Sinking. And they actually ended up recording their next album, Road Apples, which is my favorite album by the band, in New Orleans. So
nice.
Most of the other albums recorded in Canada, but that one they actually went to New Orleans for that one and took their sound down there and probably allowed themselves to be influenced by everything going on as well in Louisiana. So just Tragic Hip, some great New Orleans connections for you, Courtney. But I absolutely love them.
I like it a lot. Okay, so another one that I was, and this again, this is just my, my 90s. I'm such a hippie, but I was when grunge was out, grunge really it was like those rebellion years, you know what I mean? And so of course I got to say Alanis Morissette, right? Of course I do. I mean, Jagged Little Pill was probably every, teenage girl's like fight songs to just hate every single guy that ever did anything wrong to her, when you were in high school. I know, look at you. You're like, it's true though. And she's fun. I've seen her in concert too. She's a heck of a lot of fun too.
She actually sang the anthem at Game 7 of the Panthers-Oilers game.
Oh, really?
Yeah, she sang both anthems actually.
Oh, that's awesome. No, I didn't see that, but that's awesome.
Yeah, love Alanis Morissette. Another great one too. I did get to see the Tragically Hip. They did come to Sudbury, but another band I've seen a couple times, one of my all-time favorite bands, Billy Talent. They're a hard rock band from, I think they're from the Toronto area.
Okay.
Exactly where in the GTA, but they have this mix of, it feels very punk rock, but like some of the guitar riffs feel almost very metal. So it's kind of a nice blend of the two. Very original sound. Ian DeSaw, absolutely love him as a guitar player. A lot of the power chords he plays with extensions on them, so it kind of gives them their own just unique sound when he's chording and when he's playing. Billy Talent, especially the album Billy Talent 2. That's
Billy Talent. I'm writing them down here. You're telling me so I can look them up if I don't know them.
Yeah, I think actually I for one of my other co-hosts, I think I have a Google Doc with all these names on it, so I can share you that document too.
I always like looking up new music because there's so much out there that's so, and then you like hear something, you're like, whoa, what is that? And you realize it's somebody that you've heard before. Like recently, I heard a song by another band that is from Canada, and I could not stand them in the 90s, and then I heard this song and remembered it was them, and I was like, oh my gosh. And so I actually went back and listened to a couple of their albums and was like, man, I misjudged them so bad. And that would be the Bare Naked Ladies.
Oh, I thought you were going to say Nickelback. How could you hate the Bare Naked?
Oh, hell. Honey, I have more taste than Nickelback.
Oh, okay. I actually do like Nickelback too, but I love the Bare Naked Ladies. They're so awesome. Such great harmonies.
Yeah, but Bare Naked Ladies, I mean, some of their mainstream songs that played for, like the like 1 week and stuff. I didn't like that. I guess
you don't like the rap singing. You prefer.
Yeah, I didn't like that. It almost was like that, like the Squirrel Nut Zippers and stuff like that. And I don't like that kind of ska kind of. I didn't like it.
You probably prefer when Stephen Page is singing as opposed to Ed Roberts.
Yeah, I really like, and so I went back and listened to some, and I realized that they were from Canada too, so they're on the list.
Yeah, another great Canadian band. Another band I've seen live, Protest the Hero. No, this is truly a metal band. Probably one of my favorite metal bands ever. So if you like metal music, Protest the Hero.
Protest the Hero.
They have an album that came out in 2006 called Kazaya. And they were like 19 when they wrote and recorded it. And the maturity that you hear through the lyrics, but also just the incredible guitar playing, bass playing. It's wild. It's like these guys are teenagers making this. It's incredible. And just every album since they've.
How old were they when they put out the first album?
19, I think.
Oh, yeah.
So, wow. And it just how great it sounds and how good it is. It's wild that they're so beyond their years. So, Protest the Hero, love them. And Avril Lavigne, I do like Avril Lavigne.
Yeah, I mean, she's okay, but she's definitely not a hippie singer. What I would consider more like a hippie singer is like Miss Joni Mitchell, who is from Canada.
Yeah, Joni Mitchell for sure.
I told you I have a whole list. I did my due diligence so that I would make sure that I had some good stuff to throw at you on Canada Day.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah, that was great. Julie has a question asking Kylie and Courtney if we watch soccer.
Yes.
And Ronaldo missed a penalty kick. Yeah, Ronaldo has missed, I think, 3 free kicks in the game today. And, I mean, there was one he actually got on target, but the goalie made the save. So he's gotten the opportunity, so he can't as you can see, this is actually a Portugal shirt, so I have to wear the Canada hat to make sure because it was Canada Day. But I am Portuguese-Canadian, so this does allow me to see both my roots and de-stress about Portugal looking like they're gonna have to go to penalty kicks against Slovenia, so we'll see. We'll probably have to end here soon. Then if I want to go watch that.
I'm going to tell you right now, as a soccer player and as a soccer coach and someone that's played it my entire life, I absolutely hate big games ending on penalty kicks. I hate it. I think it's just not my thing. I think it's horrible. But I know you can't play forever, but it's just one of my things that's always bothered me about. I mean, remember back the World Cup, I don't remember the exact year, but that it ended on penalty kicks, and it's like the final game, and you're like, oh, penalty kicks, come on.
I mean, sometimes, like, I remember Italy beating France in the World Cup that one year on penalty kicks.
That's what I think it was. I think that's when it was, yeah.
2006, that would have been. Jamie's talking about Avril Lavigne, the clone, which is hilarious since Orphan Black is a Canadian show and it's about clones, and apparently they've just made a new series, like almost not a reboot, but like almost an expansion of it with a different character, different type of clone. So Christian Ritter, I think, is starring in it. So love Orphan Black.
I don't know. I don't think is Gwen Stefani. I don't think she's from Canada.
No, she's not from Canada. She's from California.
Oh, because I was about to say.
But I think Courtney was mentioning her. And sorry, because I keep seeing her say Courtney in the comments. Julia was saying that. I think it was based on your comment of like.
Oh yeah, no, I love Gwen Stefani. She's cool.
There's no doubt she's amazing.
Yeah, agreed. Because you're right. She's everything. She can do anything. Even go and do country with her new husband Blake Shelton. But all right, who's your next one? Who's your next one?
Oh, well, someone who I think is a fantastic songwriter and very interesting guitar player, we'll say, is Neil Young.
He's on the list.
His attitude is even more than his talent. I really like Neil Young. He's someone that you can take it or leave it. He mentions Blind River in a song. That's not where I grew up, but it's close enough to where I grew up. That feels cool.
Nice. I think my other one would have to go ahead.
To just Julia's comment here, I did wear the red one today because I also have a white Portugal shirt. But I wore the red one just because it was Canada Day. I figured let's go with the Canadian red a bit more. So,
I like it.
And they happened to wear red as well today, so they appeased me. And they didn't score in regulation, or it seems like maybe not even extra time. But
okay, so one of my favorite bands of all times, which most people would not consider them a Canadian band. They are considered an American band because this is where they really, this is where
you're going to talk about.
Oh, I'm going to talk about the band.
Yeah.
The actual band, because 4 of their 5 members are from Canada, except for, the greatest, Mr. Levon Helm. So.
Yeah, for sure. Robbie Robertson, fantastic. Apparently only songwriter, although it's disputed that they all should have got credits. Man, Garth Hudson, all the weird, strange stuff he does.
One of my favorite bands
on Cripple Creek. I can't remember.
Yep, one of my favorite bands of all times, and so it's pretty. It was definitely they had to be on there. So
yeah, I love the band. That's great too. Well, one of talk about fantastic drummers and the drummer that did write songs, Rush. Absolutely.
Yes.
Another. I've heard some people they don't necessarily love Geddy Lee's voice and it can detract them. I don't really care. I'm all about the guitarist, the bass player, anyway. And yes, Jamie, Justin Bieber is Canadian. That is true.
I was leaving him off my list because he's just so horrible. I was leaving him off the list, Jamie.
But yeah, Rush, fantastic. Band.
Yes.
The prog, progressive hard rock, almost not quite prog metal, but certainly love what Rush provided. Neil Peart's one of the greatest drummers ever.
Well, who I didn't realize was from Canada was Steppenwolf.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah, little magic carpet ride. I did not realize they were from Canada, so.
Yeah, I think I remembered that, yeah. I forgot about them. They fell in the ether, but yeah.
They did.
Avril Lavigne appointed to the Order of Canada. What does that even mean?
What does that even mean?
It's honestly, it's like just like a Canadian Hall of Fame more. They just make it sound more. It's not just, for artists and musicians, they'll put like politicians in there. Or, like anyone who's kind of done well for Canada, I guess.
Like a Walk of Fame, maybe, or something?
Yeah, almost? It's pretty prestigious, though. So it's
nice.
Good for Ethel. So one of the things is I'm also bilingual. I'm francophone. So there are a lot of French artists, French language bands that I like. So
interesting.
Les Colocs, which would be French for the roommates.
Okay.
They put out quite a few good albums in the 90s. They have a mix of like, it's not quite folk music, but the French Quebec sort of folk songs mixed with ska in the 90s, the sort of and they're rock heads too, so they like rock as well. And they kind of fused it all together for their own sound. Really influenced by even the last album that was recorded in 1998, influenced by sounds from Senegal and some African rhythms, and they really very global band in terms of just what their sound really is. Les Kodak.
Well, I'm never going to be able to write that down.
Like I said, I've got a Google Doc for you. I'll send it to you. So don't worry.
I was going to write French for roommates. Okay, let's see. Who else do I have on my list? Okay, one, not a big fan, but she definitely was another one of the, 90s kind of took over after Jewel came on the scene, from Alaska and everything.
Now I know who you're going to say. Yeah, Sarah McLachlan.
Not a huge fan, but you definitely got to give it to her. I mean, she had multiple albums there, multiple runs on the charts and everything. It was definitely more of that poppy kind of, melodical stuff, but still great voice. And, still, I mean, I know that she was probably very integral in writing most of those songs that she kind of like Alanis Morissette. So, she can go on the list.
Yeah, I like Sarah McLachlan. She's great. Well, a great female who's technically not Canadian. She's born in India, but I think she immigrated to Quebec when she was pretty young. Emily Haines. She's the lead singer of the band Metric. So Metric is one of my favorite bands.
Okay.
They've got a cool, sort of very electronic influenced rock sound.
Okay.
Emily, in addition to being the singer, she also plays keyboards. Some of the members also play keyboards. It's a drum, bass, guitar. There's a trio alongside Emily, so a 4-piece for the band total. Metric, awesome. Great stuff.
Okay, well, I'm going to say this one, and I'm going to put my other fun one up there, and then I'll go back to the one that I think that is kind of like, really, did I really put it on the list kind of person, But the Guess Who.
Oh, yeah, no, that's great.
And I like the Guess Who. That's another 70s, 70s band, kind of had a couple of hits in the 80s, but more of like, your 70s and stuff, because that's kind of my genre that I like.
A Canadian band whose best song is about an American woman.
That's right.
Apparently that wasn't even their original band name. I don't know if you knew that. I can't remember what their band name was originally, but they kept applying to be in, like, get record labels from a specific label that they wanted to deal, and they kept being rejected. And I guess the last time, instead of writing their information on, they just wrote Guess Who. I guess they didn't. They didn't get the joke. Thought it was a different band. Played it and then sung. So they're like, "Oh, okay. Well, I guess that worked." Right? It was all about the name.
Well, I'm totally looking it up right now because I want to know the name.
I can't remember what it was, but yeah.
All right. Let's
Guess
see.
Who wasn't their original name, but that's the name that got them signed. So they had no choice but to stick with it.
Hold on. Let's see. It doesn't say. I can't figure it out.
Yeah, they announced ladies, Julia. And also love the band.
I can't figure it out, but it definitely said they are in the Canadian Hall of Fame, though.
Ooh. Interesting.
Yes, I like some of the Bare Naked Ladies songs. That's what I said. I didn't like the ones that came out on the on the airways. But then I went back and listened to a couple of the songs that most people never listened to on some albums, and I really liked them. So yes.
Looks like they were called Chad Allen and the Expressions.
Oh, that's awful. Oh, I see it now. Ew,
no wonder they didn't get signed.
That's not a good name. Nope, not a good name. They're from Winnipeg.
Yeah,
Winnipeg. All right, so my other one is, this is the one that I was like, okay, well, I'm going to mention it because it's on there, and I know people are going to know who it is, but probably one of the most annoying songs in the whole entire world is Crash Test Dummies. Do you remember them?
You see, I didn't know that they were Canadian. Okay.
That's what it said when I looked up Canadian artists. That's what it said.
So thank you, Courtney, for enlightening me.
Well, I mean, that's one of the most annoying songs ever, but people loved it. But I think that was their only song ever,
Well, yeah, that's true. I can't think of any others. Celine Dion, that's right. She was at the NHL draft, actually.
Did you mention the lady who sang the Titanic song? Celine Dion, yeah.
Celine Dion.
Yes, they're from Manitoba too, Kyle.
Oh, okay. Crash Test Dummies. Interesting. Okay.
Uh-huh.
I know that.
Yeah.
I've got a band just from the province over in the prairies, the Sheepdogs. They're from Saskatchewan. They're a very kind of country rock, similar to how CCR played.
Oh,
they're a modern band. Like they're still touring, making albums now. I think they had a great album, Changing Colors, come out in I think 2018, 2019.
Oh well, then I definitely want to look that one up because I love CCR.
Yeah. When I gave this list to my co-host Jesse, that seemed to be the one band that like he didn't know that really surprised him and like him that he really liked. So yeah, I love the Sheepdogs. Super amazing. They're great singers, great guitar harmonies, especially with their most recent guitarist. They've got their new lead guitarist is from Toronto. His first album with them was Changing Colors. He kind of brought a new dynamic in terms of how he approaches his sound, and yeah, super awesome band.
I'm looking at pictures of them right now, and they look fun.
Special shout out to the Trailer Park Boys.
Look, they're opening up for Bryan Adams. You should totally go see them.
There you go.
You can hit two birds with one stone.
There you go. What a great Canadian concert.
Okay, I don't know. I don't have any more.
That was basically it for B2 in terms of the ones.
Yeah, I don't have any.
I had a real favorite. Well, there was one other French band I really like called Mes Ailleurs. They have kind of a similar style to Les Colocs, only it's less on the ska rock side, even more towards the folk side, but still rock elements to it. It's really good harmonies. And then Nelly Furtado, Portuguese Canadian, so that's something her and I connect through. That same, because I believe Nelly is born in Canada. So like me, well, at least on my father's side, I am first generation. So both me and Nelly Furtado's parents were immigrants. I believe both her parents are from Portugal, whereas my mom's actually from Canada, born in Canada. So.
I'm gonna tell you that I'm not a huge Nelly Furtado fan, but
now you've probably heard a lot of the stuff with like produced by Timberland.
Yeah, some of it.
So her second album is called Folklore. It came out in 2003. It was just before she started working with Timberland. I actually think that's her best album because there's a lot of Portuguese sort of influence on that album. It's a true Portuguese Canadian album. So I will add that to the list I'm going to send you. The rest of her stuff's okay, but the Folklore album is phenomenal.
All right, I'll listen to it. Same thing that I did with the Bare Naked Ladies. I'm sure I could be persuaded to listen to that too.
Yeah, you just got to find the songs that fit. Again, you just got to go for the Stephen Page songs, apparently. You got to go for the non-Timberland songs.
That's right. Totally.
I know you've got to get out of here shortly. So is there anything else you want to talk about?
No. I love talking about music and football, and I think we hit a little bit. I know. That's the only song I can think of that comes to my mind when I think of Nelly, and I'm like, no. That was like that big hit.
Folklore, baby.
Who's J-Rock, Jamie?
J-Rock's a character from Trailer Park Boys.
Oh, okay.
Fictional rapper.
No,
and then she's and Julia's quoting "I'm Like a Bird," which is actually off her first album. That was even before Folklore.
Well, that's what I was saying. That's the only song that's the song that popped into my head when he said Nelly Furtado, and I'm like, no.
Right.
So,
get the Folklore album. That's the one to listen to. But,
I added to the list. I wrote it down.
Yeah, I will send you this list off. Anyone who wants this list, just DM me on Twitter at Senra Says. I'll happily share it with you. Nelly Furtado, her voice is scintillating. Scintillating. Sorry, not scintillating.
Sure. Yes, I promise I will listen. I promise I will listen. I am not opposed to listening to new music. I'm very open to it, so I will.
Open to different times. Thanks for opening to coming on and doing this show. It's fantastic. Portugal still hasn't scored. It looks like it probably will go to penalty kicks. So I'm going to go watch that.
Yeah, I'll have to go.
Got a busy day too. So thanks for Julia, Jamie for joining us in the chat. Anyone else who's watching after the fact, I appreciate it very much. Anything else you'd like to say before we leave for you?
Everyone have a wonderful 4th and wonderful Canadian Day.
Yeah, July 1st, July 4th. It's a whole week of celebrating, partying.
Woohoo!
Everyone, thanks for enjoying. Thanks again for watching another episode of the 2 Point Conversion. On behalf of Courtney Burrows, I'm Kyle Senra. Wish you all happy Canada Day, happy Independence Day, happy just July in general. We'll probably come back either for another episode at the end of July or into August. Either way, this is